All right, so basically in regard to what we're going to be working on today, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get myself adjusted in the seat. We're taking a cigar box that looks like this. It's just a plain cigar box. It has, you know, it opens, and you can get cigar boxes anywhere. I got a lot of these types of boxes. They have different styles of cigar boxes, but that's the style that I have. So basically what I did is I painted the cigar box. I took it apart. I took apart each piece. I painted it. And this is color. The can of paint I'm using is Montana Black. That's what we're using to paint this. So I also cut out some felt, which we're going to use for the inside. So I didn't really paint the inside. I wanted this part painted, and you'll see why. And I wanted the tops painted, so I did that. And then I realized that after I painted the bottom, I needed to add a little bit of extra paint on here to darken it a little. And I used some, I think, Mont Art paint. So I had actually put in here some painter's tape, which I'm going to take off while I was spraying this. So in the garage, I used, let me just show you. This box has this burned into it, right? So this is kind of burned into it with a press, and you can feel it when you run your hand over it. And I didn't want it to have, because I'm making this box for a kid, right? So I didn't want it to show that it was an actual cigar box. Yes, it is a cigar box. I got that for free. I'm trying to use what I have, and I have a lot of crafting stuff. I started with trying to make it from this box, and I added a little piece of wood, painted wood design that I got from from Hobby Lobby for about $1. Right? The thing is, I didn't remove the hardware, and then you probably can't see this, but there's an indentation on here and here of the cigar box information, and I just didn't want that on there. So what I did is I took some wood glue, not wood glue, wood feel, and I filled the sides, filled the front, and there's a little bit of that there, but not that much where you can't really see it. And I did paint it. I sprayed some filler primer on there, and then I sprayed it with that color back front. And so I did that. I removed the top and all of the hardware. This is the design I'm going to put on there. It's a bird and a flower. I wanted to make it look like the bird was, you know, getting nectar from the flower. So we're going to do that. I'm also going to add the name of my niece, but I have a whole bunch of these boxes, so I can make, you know, jewelry boxes for everybody. So what I want to do is, I'm going to take this off of here. We want to glue, I want to glue the felt on the inside, and I have to leave a little bit out because of the way the box is made. It can't have the felt all the way across because of the way it sits in there. Here's another same type of box. Here's another design that I made. It is called a cigar box purse. Now this would be typically the back of the cigar box, but it is the front of our purse. I added a handle, and this is the back, and I kept it as a cigar box because once again it is a cigar box purse. But when you open it, you can see that the felt is not all the way across because it sits in there and it needs to sit flush. So this is the inside. I put a mirror in there and it came out pretty well. This design is based on a purse that I got many years ago in Las Vegas that was made and I purchased. And the original purse that I purchased, my sister liked it so much, she bought it from me, and then I just made a copy. But you can put any design on the front of this box, anything that you like. So that's the cigar box purse. So what we're going to do is I have some wood glue, And then I also have, I think I'm going to be using a different type of glue to glue down the felt. So I'll be right back, and then we'll glue down the felt. All right, guys. So for the glue to glue down the felt, we're going to be using Mod Podge matte. This is a matte Mod Podge that we're going to be using for that. Just going to sit this here. And I put a little in this container that I got from the Dollar Tree. It was like $4. But anyway, I'm going to lay it down in the bottom of the box first. So we want to generously coat the bottom of the box. And I had already cut the felt to the size that I wanted. So we're going to do that. Try and make it as neat as possible. Hoping you guys can see that. Okay, something on there. All right, so we're going to lay the felt down in here. I may have to cut it a little bit more to even it out or whatever. We'll see. Okay, so it's in there. It's a little bit short on the sides, but we have felt that we're going to be putting around the sides, so I'm not worried about that. And there's a little bit extra here, so I'm just going to cut that out. It's just a little line. Try not to get glue on anything because I don't want it to stick to the paint. I'm out of that color of paint. So, and I always get some of the, pull that up a little. I always get some glue on the felt. I don't know. I try not to, but it always happens no matter what I do. Okay, so we got that. All right, so we're gonna, and it's gonna take a few hours for that to totally dry. Ooh. I pulled it out. Let's try that again. I think I need some more glue. Oh, well, there you go. A little too much glue. So we're going to try and take some of that out. Sorry, guys. Sometimes, you know, this is what happens. I'm not perfect. I try to do good work, but I'm not perfect. I put down too much glue, but you know what? I'm going to take some of this up. I think it needs a lot of glue at the bottom because obviously it wasn't sticking. And we got to have it stick. And, you know, it takes a little while to dry. So, got that. I'm going to try and lay this down again. Let's move that out of the way. Okay. So, there you go. And as I said, it's a little short on the front and back side, but that's okay because I am laying down. We got to glue the rest of the felt in there, okay? So I have the felt for the front and back. See that there? That's going to go there. So I got to put it in so I can get the exact size. And I may have to cut some of it. It looks like I might have to cut some of that out. So, let me put this in as much as I can put in. I'm just fitting it for now, and then I'll put the glue down. All right. See how that looks. Okay. So I kind of fitted that in there, and I'll just take another piece and use this as my guide to cut the other piece for the front. Okay, let's hope that goes well. Okay, so you can't see it, but I'm gonna put down the felt in there. Obviously, gotta have a lot of glue for that. Try not to get the glue everywhere. That's all I can hope for. So I want to try and make this look, you know, as much like a jewelry box as I can, because, you know, when you make stuff by hand, and I make a lot of things, you know, it's because I care about the people that I'm making it for, and I wanted to show that, right? You wanted to show, if it's customers, whoever it is, if this is something that you do, you want to make it look as good as possible, as professional as possible. And I do try my best, you know. So we got that in there. And I'm going to have to probably cut a little bit off the top there. It's just a little bit hanging over the back. So I'm going to get that. But I'm going to let this sit in here and dry. We're going to do the front. I'm going to put glue in here. We're going to do the front. Actually, this is the front of the box and this is the back. So now I manually pulled out all of the hardware that was in this box. We're going to reuse it. Because of the way the lid is, it's best to use the hardware that came with the box. So that's what I'm going to use. I was careful to pull it out because, you know, I didn't want it to bend. And I just got a little glue on that felt, but very little. So I'm going to put this in. And I'll show you how that looks in just a second here. I'm going to get better cameras for doing like close-up work like this because, you know, obviously I'm using a camera and you can't see everything that I'm doing, but I think I'm going to get some, I'm just kind of push this down with the scissors. I'm going to get some other cameras or a different setup so that you're able to see kind of what I'm doing from the inside angle, okay? Get out of there. Just trying to really poke that in. Oops. Poke that in. And this felt here, I don't know why it won't stay down. Maybe, let's try this wood glue. It's a little bit thicker. And maybe it'll work better over here. I don't know. Because it's really trying not to stick for me. And that never happens. Okay, and then I'm going to just push this down. And like I said, you can't see what I'm doing inside the box, but let's hope that stays. Okay. But anyway, so I have the front and the back of the felt in there, and I'm going to trim off a little of the excess here after it dries. Now I'm trying my best not to get, I don't know if you guys, there's a little bit of a lip here that I'm trying not to get any glue on because, like I said, the lid kind of sits in there. So I'm going to do the size. Before I put any glue down, I want to kind of measure the side, and I probably should have done this before. And guys, if you have a better way of gluing in the felt or cutting the felt, let me know in the comments. Just say, oh, you should have done it, you know, you could have done this, or hey, this is the way I do it. It might make it easier. I don't know. Excuse me. A lot of times these boxes are what's called flocked, and you can actually buy the boxes already with the flocking in there. Once again, I am using stuff that I already have, right? So I didn't want to go out and buy any special box. I have a ton of these boxes, and so I want to use what I have. All right, let me move my phone. All right. Yeah, I want to try and use what I have, so we're going to... And any glue that I get on here, I'm going to wipe off. May have to get a wet cloth. All right. So I'm trying to get that in the corner without getting glue on the already existing felt that I have on there. All right. So let's put this one in. New. All right. So we got that one. That one in. Okay. looking good. I may have to put a little bit more glue around the top. Actually, it's coming out pretty well. It may not be perfect. I'm trying though. I try to get it on there as perfect as possible, but you know, I'm not perfect for everything, but I try to do my best because like I said, this is a gift. You want it to look good. You want it to look handmade, not homemade. And I guess there's a little bit of difference there. Because sometimes when you make stuff for people, you know, they're expecting it to not look great sometimes, you know. Got to put a little glue on the top there, like that. All right. So, and I'm using this to kind of push this down. I think I have another tool for that, but I didn't have it out. Trying to push this into the corners. All right. All right, and I will probably need a little wet rag to get some of that glue off, but it's not looking too bad. Not bad at all. Just a little. Okay. Okay. All right, and I probably need to get some paper towel, but okay. Not looking bad. Okay. All right, so there it is on this side, and then I just have to put it on the other side. And as I mentioned on the back, this is the front rather, I may have to cut a little bit of that felt down at the very, very top. Oh, okay, so I'm using the wood glue for some odd reason. It is thicker, and it seems to be sticking better. Typically, I would use Mod Podge, but it's not working as well today. So I'm using the wood glue, and it seems to be doing a fine job there. All right, next one. Put a little on the bottom here, because right at the corners is where the where it meets with the other piece of felt, and I don't want to get glue on it even though I just got it on my hand. I need to grab a paper towel, I think. Okay, let's smush this down. I'm using my scissors to help me push that in. Guys, I'm going to get a napkin or a towel, maybe a little wet cloth to, give me a second. All right, so I got a towel because I want to keep the glue off of my hands. Okay. So I got a little bit of glue on the outside of this. I mean, on the felt on the inside, but it's not horrible, and hopefully it won't dry too bad there. All right, so all right, we got the felt in all around. There's another piece of felt that I had that was closer to the color of the outside of the box, but I did not have enough, so I had to use this. You can use any color felt you want. And while that's working on drying, we're going to do the inside. So the inside of the lid, I only really wanted this part painted. I didn't really care because it's the outside that they're going to see, and this part is going to have felt on it. So we're going to go ahead and get the felt onto this. I'm just adding that wood glue that I mentioned. Trying not to get glue everywhere. I'm laying it on thick because we want this glue to hold on the top, because the mirror is going to be glued onto that. So, and I'll probably have to put a little bit more glue down. Okay, closer to that edge. So once again, I'm using the Gorilla wood glue. I guess I needed more glue than I thought. A second here. It's like a big glob of glue. Kerplunk. All right. So we're using the Gorilla glue there. I'm going to lay some more glue along this edge. And I'll probably have to just do a little trim on the side there. All right, so we got that one down. Turn to this side. And I just got to put a little bit more glue right up to that line. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm wiping some of that glue off before it dries, because I don't want it to dry on there. All right, I'm gonna get my real X-Acto knife. I'm using another knife. It's actually like a little scalpel type blade. Let me get my here it is. Guys, do you ever look for your stuff and then you have it and don't realize you have it? That's me. Okay. So, on the side, there's a little bit of felt that I need to get off of there. And I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. And let's hope that that's sharp enough. A little glue on the side we want to get off. Okay. And just at that corner, let's see if I can cut this. Okay. And just at that corner, I want to put a little bit of glue. Na, na, na. All right, so I got that. And once again, they have different types of cigar boxes. I just so happen to have this. I want to use what I have. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to use this X-Acto knife. I'm hoping it's sharper. I probably need to change my blades. All right, so I got that. I have to use my scissors just a bit. Use a sharp X-Acto knife, guys. Don't be like me, okay? All right. Let's clean up this mess. All right, so, and let me grab some water, guys. I'm thirsty. I need to drink. Okay. And I'm going to just put this stuff up here on the side of me is my glow forge. I have it covered, you guys, because I do use it. Now, so we got this done. I have to trim off a little bit of the felt that's here. But what happens is, let me show you, this box sits inside of here. So I may have to cut a little bit of the felt off the inside if I have it up too high, which I think this side is, so I'll have to fix that. This is fine on the inside of the box. Just put that in there. Yeah, so this side is just a little high, and I just need to do a little trim there. And then, of course, trim this teeny bit off the back. You gotta figure out the best way to do it. I don't know if these scissors will work, but they're kind of big. Let me get my small scissors and see if I can get that to work. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'll try these, but I have some other ones too. I may get my embroidery scissors out. I don't know. Did you see that? And I'm making the scissor face like, All right. I think I got it. I got to do a little bit more on this side. I'm just trying not to cut into the paint, you know. And then I'll have to put a little bit more glue there at the top. It's a little bit long right in there. Trying to get these little flakes of felt out of there. And it's not perfect, but it's better than it was, so that the felt can sit flush in there. Oh, and I may have to cut a little bit of this because I see that it's not. It needs to be a little bit lower. I may have to take it out and cut it down, which sucks, but it's easier if I take it out and just cut it down just a little. Okay, so it hadn't dried, so I had to take it out, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so my camera was on as well as my iPad. So I'm filming on my iPad because my camera, I bought this camera. It's supposed to be a vlogging camera, but the battery always seems to die. It doesn't stay charged for that long. So I'm filming this whole thing on my iPad. So let's hope it looks good. Okay. So that just needs to dry. I got a little bit of glue here. And I think once it dries, it'll be perfect, okay? It's as good as it's gonna get for that, right? Okay, once again, this is the front, this is the back, and I can tell by the holes for the hardware. So I got these little scraps of felt. Get rid of those. All right, so at Hobby Lobby, I purchased, Hobby Lobby has these little, and I got a lot of these because I was thinking about doing like little, you know, like birth boxes, boys and girls. I had the little sailboats and some other stuff. So I was going to do these, and I've had this stuff, geez, I've had this for a while, and I didn't do anything with it. So, you know, I'm going to work with it today. But before I put these on, like I said, I want the flower, the bird to look like it's getting nectar from the flower. What I want to do is go ahead and, okay, I got some embellishments for the boxes. Now, all of this stuff I mentioned, I'm using what I have. I've had this. This is legs for the box. And these little, you can see it on the back here, these corner decorations. We're going to use it on the bottom of the box. So, just take a look at this. Okay, that's the front. So we want to use it on the front. And what I've discovered is I can match the holes on the bottom of here with the holes for the stand. So we're using gold. I have these little feet for the jewelry box in like silver, gold, brass. But what I found out is if I put this on the bottom, that hole where you would screw it is on the bottom, I can line it up with this because I was thinking, oh, it's not going to work, you know, but it lines up perfectly. So we're going to do that. Once again, we're still waiting for all the felt to dry. But while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and screw in the legs. And I didn't get my screwdriver, y'all. Give me a second. All right, so I got my small screwdriver. We're going to try this. This will be my first time trying to screw this in the bottom like this. So I have the nails. And guys, I'm just going to wet my towel. My restroom is back here. I'm just going to wet my towel. I want to get that glue off my hands. I hate having dry glue on my hands. Guys, you probably have noticed my hands on some of these videos. Since I do a lot of different crafts and a lot of work with my hands, sometimes they look rough. Maybe I need to buy that O'Keeffe's lotion or something. I'm not partnered with them. They don't know who I am. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right. So we're going to screw these in, and I'm just going to turn this around, and I'm just going to kind of mark this hole. Just going to push this screw through a little. That way, hopefully it doesn't move while I try and screw this in. And I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope it's a good day for you. It is Tuesday. I'm in the Houston area. Right now it's kind of foggy looking outside. I don't know if the sun is coming out or not. I haven't really checked the weather. Okay, but this is going in okay, so we're going to do that. Now, the one thing I'm going to do, you guys probably won't see it on this video. I apologize, I didn't do it earlier, is make a little name tag for my niece that I'm going to put on the front of the box. And I'll put her name on there and paint it, and I'll show you guys that. I'll film that a little bit later today, I guess. And because the screws that I'm using are so short, they do not come up through the bottom. But look how cute that is, guys. That kind of gives it a little bit more decoration, makes it look good. And then there's a screw on this side that I got to put in to put that down. But that came out okay. I like that. Okay. Just want wanted to look at something on my cigar box purse. And then I'll show you guys how the next time we'll do the cigar box purse, so you can see how I made that one. Somebody's always trying to call me, y'all. You know what, guys? I got my car fixed. Unfortunately, somebody backed into my car a few weeks ago. Actually, back in the first part of January. And I took my car to one of the workshops to get it fixed. And, you know, I was happy with their work and everything. And I took a survey that they asked me to take. You know, no problem. I took the survey. But, guys, they have texted or called me every single day. I even replied, stop. You know, don't text me. Stop calling me. And then I'm thinking, okay, that should be good enough. What did they do? They sent me another text saying, hey, we got your message to stop texting you. Stop texting me. Oh my goodness, they did a good job on my car, and I had already said that, and I had already, you know, filled out the questionnaire. First they said, oh, we gotta, you know, we just hope you were satisfied your work. I said yes, and I sent that back. Then the next day it was like another questionnaire. Can you answer these questions? You know, it was like 10 other questions. And then yesterday they sent me another thing saying, hey, can you, like, dude, how many questions do you need me to answer, you know? I don't know. Has anybody ever had that happen to them? You're satisfied with your work, you know, but I don't have time to keep answering like the same questions over and over again. Like this thing. Got a little glue on the back. All right. All right, that came up. And a little bit of glitter because the flower that I got from Hobby Lobby, that flower that I showed you guys that's going to be on the top of the box, I added a little bit of color to it because I wanted it to kind of match the colors that are in that bird a little bit more. So I did that. Okay. Guys, I'm like trying to get this on here. All right, finally. All right. Okay. Yay, we got our front legs on there. Isn't that pretty, guys? And so I think I'm going to have the name right across here. I did notice you can see just very, very little bit of that cigar design that was in there. I did try my best to smooth it out and sand and all of that stuff, but I do see a little bit of it, but that's okay because I'm going to put that name right there, I think. Okay, so we got the front legs on, and then we're going to put the back on. Maybe I should just use my that there. Okay, now let's put this on. Now these little feet that I have for the cigar box, I purchased these a while ago at Amazon because I had made a few cigar box jewelry boxes for some family members for like a Christmas, and so I bought these a while ago, a few years ago actually now, probably about, geez, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Initially, I purchased these, but a long time ago, somebody that I know started smoking cigars, and so they ended up giving me a whole bunch of these cigar boxes. I actually had so many that I gave some to Goodwill. So if you're interested in doing something like this and you don't want to spend a lot of money, go into Goodwill, take a look and see if they have boxes. I know that they sell boxes over at Hobby Lobby. They sell these boxes. I don't think they sell them with felt. They're just plain wood boxes. And I apologize because I don't know how much they sell theirs for, because I've only used cigar boxes. Typically at the cigar shop, the boxes are like, you can get the cigar boxes for a dollar, I think. Or less. Sometimes the shops, you know, they may want to charge a little bit more. But see if you can find some of these at Goodwill, or if you go to the cigar shop, see if they'll give you a deal. I remember I went into one cigar shop, and this was a while ago, and they sold me the boxes for like $0.25. I couldn't believe it. This was, wow, this must have been about 15 or so years ago, but even inflation gets you at a cigar shop. And so another time I went to a cigar shop, and it was like, oh, they're $1 each. And then when I got some really, really beautiful, intricate cigar boxes. Oh, well, that one's a little bit more. Well, you told me it was $1 a piece, you know. But anyway, so these I have, and I have, like I said, I had over 100 cigar boxes, you guys. I did not have anywhere to store these. That's why I'm trying to use the stuff that I have, because I have so many crafting supplies and so much stuff. But you don't have to use these feet. I want to tell you that. They have those, I call them bumpers, but they're like those little white plastic things that are inside of your like kitchen cabinets, so that you don't, and it's not crooked, you know, it's not wobbly. I thought maybe it might wobble a little because I screwed it into this, but it's perfect. There's no wobble. You guys see that? Came out very well. Now, I'm going to try and put these are the inserts that came on this box. However, I got to get them back into it, and I don't want them to bend or stretch or do anything weird. So I'm going to try and get them back in there. And I don't remember which one was in the top and which one is in the bottom, because the tip on here is a little bit different. So I don't know. I don't know if it was this one, this way. And I'm gonna have to trim down a little bit more of the felt and then just paint that. But see, it sits in there like this now. And I'm probably gonna have to use like a little mallet to get this pushed in. So you probably cannot see this, but there is a little indent from where I took this out, and I'm just trying to stick it back in there. But like I said, I may have to use a little bit of a mallet, and I wasn't sure which side I poked out which. Oh, okay, I guess it was that way. Let's hope it works, y'all. May have to put a little glue on there. I'm not sure. I typically have not had a problem with that popping out. All right. I think I have it backwards. Oops. Yeah, I had it backwards. And you could probably put a little glue where each of the holes start in there so that it doesn't come out. I haven't had a problem with them coming out, so I'm not going to do that for this. But you could put, well, for one, I just don't have the super glue right now. But you could put like a little bit of super glue on there to make sure that that does not come out. But I'm going to get a little mallet and I'll come right back, guys. All right, guys, so I was able to get the hinges put in there, and I did kind of pop them, you know, with the mallet. Now I'm putting the front clasp on there to open it. I probably will have to kind of tap that a little bit too. I'm pushing it as far as I think it'll go, and I may tap it a little, but these you have to be very gentle with because the stems are very, very okay, so I'm gonna tap those in there and I'll come back. All right, guys, so I did have to put just a little bit of super glue in the holes in the back to keep that in. Here's the front. I kind of messed that up when I was right there. There's a little notch. I don't know if you guys, it's very, very slight. It's right there, kind of when I was putting these in. I was able to get them in though. And then the box opens like that. It's kind of sticking just a little, so maybe it needs to dry a little bit more. But that's the front of the box, and it opens like that. We have the legs on it, and then I'm going to put the bird on it. So let me put that design on. I'm going to use the wood glue for that. And I think I had it on there like this, and then the bird like that, so it looks like it's getting nectar from the flowers. Very, very pretty. So let's get this glued on, and we're gonna have to press. I don't know if I should have put this on before I actually attached the hardware, but we're gonna see how it goes. I gotta really have to smush it down so it can stay glued. Okay. All right. Try to get all the glue off my hands beforehand. And anything that's like coming out of the sides, I'm trying to wipe down already. Not to move it. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that. Sorry, I'm kind of standing out of the frame here. And I'll show you the front. All right, let's see. Got a little glue on there. I'm gonna have to fix that stick. But anyway, guys, here's the bird and the flower on there. Once again, this is the front. I'm going to add a mirror, but I'll do that after this dries, and then I'm going to add the name to the very front. I think I'll do the name in gold. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, so this is how you elevate a cigar box from this to now this. It's a jewelry box with a stand, and we're going to add a name just across the front and glue a mirror inside. But I'm going to let this dry first before I do that, and then I'll come back after that dries and after I make the name. All right, guys, thanks. I'll be back. All right, guys, so I finally finished everything. This is the final. So let's look at what we started with. We started with a plain cigar box that had paper on it. I was able to get the paper off. We sanded this down, not sanded it, but we put in wood filler to cover up this logo. Then after I did that, I sanded the wood filler down. Then I sprayed it with filler primer and then the paint, right? So that's how we got that. So that's the start of the box. Then we ended up with this. This is the jewelry box. I did add the name to the front. This is mirror acrylic. Here's the bird with the flower to the front of the box. And I did have to shave down the sides because of the paint, because it kept sticking. So I did, if I do this again, I'll shave down the sides beforehand. So here's the inside with the mirror. And then there's the inside bottom. And it came out really well. So that's the box right there. That's the bottom. So everything's there. And then also we talked about this. It's the same box, the same style of cigar box, but we made a purse with this one. This is the cigar box purse. I kept the cigar logo and everything on this one because it is a cigar box purse, and I wanted to leave that on there. This one opens this way, and then we have the mirror at the top and then the inside. And I did not paint this one. I wanted to leave it natural because it is a cigar box purse. But anyway, so we went from the standard cigar box to a jewelry box and a cigar box purse. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good day. Please guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hype my videos up. I'm going to keep coming back with more videos. I'm just trying to get this channel you know, totally, you know, I'm just trying to get more viewers for this channel. Keep me in your thoughts. Watch the videos, and when I get to my first 100 subscribers, we're actually going to be doing a giveaway. So we're going to keep giving away every 100 subscribers that we get to until we get to at least 1,000. So I'm going to be giving a gift away. I'll be mailing that out. I'll draw the names. So tell your friends, have them subscribe. First 100 subscribers, I'll do a video, and then we'll do a giveaway. All right, guys, thanks. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.